Hi everybody, and happy 4th of July to all my American friends out there. Happy Independence Day. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Today I just want to talk about overtourism and how the cruise lines are basically the ones being blamed completely for overtourism. It's the cruise lines. So even in a smaller town like Bar Harbor, Maine, we have people who say it's the cruise ships that are overcrowding the park. We can't even get into the park because of the cruise ship passengers, when in fact, the amount of people going into the park, only about 10% are from the cruise ships. The rest are all travelers traveling there by car and vehicle. So is it really the cruise ships that are overcrowding the park? No, but some people, will believe what they believe, and I can understand saying that the town gets overcrowded when a cruise ship is in there. But to say the national park is all that, when it's campers and holidayers and hotelers, it's completely, especially on the weekends, is completely different. However, let's talk about a situation as we now hear about Amsterdam now saying that they want to ban cruise ships completely by 2035 in the cruise ports in the center of the city. They've already cut the amount of river cruises going in there in half, saying it's all them, it's all the cruise ships. But is it? Is it truly the cruise ships that are overcrowding these popular destinations? Unlike Bar Harbor, which is a popular stop along the way, it's not a big tourist attraction place like Venice and Amsterdam and Barcelona. It's not major, all the cruises are going there, right? It's not the big, huge cruise ships, etc., etc. So one of the first to ever announce this, of course, was Venice. Venice came out and they said, that's it. It's the cruise ships that are overcrowding our area. They pushed them out to the far end where it takes over an hour plus on bus ride to get into the city now. It's no longer downtown, and they pushed the cruise ships out saying, that's going to stop the overtourism, everybody. We're good. We're good. And everybody applauded, saying that's going to solve everything. Well, let's just examine that now that we have some facts. And in 2019, they said that about 13 million visitors, this is the year before the pandemic, remember, so a normal year, about 13 million tourists visited Venice, and about 7% of those arrived by cruise ship. So 93% of the tourists in Venice in 2019 were overnight travelers, or people vacationing there, or backpackers, whatever you want a situation it's going to be. Only 7% visited by cruise ship, and of those, that's saying that every person on the cruise ship got off. And let's be honest, not everybody on the cruise ship gets off. So those numbers are actually lower in reality. It's probably more like 5 or 6% that actually come from cruise ships. But we'll say the 7% number just to be fair. Well, 2023 came around, the ban's been in place, cruise ships are no longer allowed there, so much so that cruise ships have stopped going, to the point where it went down to about 2.5%. About 508,000 people visited by cruise ship. Well, okay, that's a significant drop. According to them, that's about 5% less of cruise ship. That's 200% less than was coming in 2019. So tourism must be down. The overcrowding must be down, right? The infrastructures and everything in Venice obviously have to be eased because all this stuff is gone from the cruise ship. Tourism is solved because the cruise ships aren't there. No. In fact, there were 20 million visitors in 2023 into the city of Venice. 20 million. And there were 200% less cruise passengers. than in 2019. So how much did tourism go up? It went up to 153% from 2019 to 2023. 4 years, including the pandemic years in the middle. So it's gone up 153% in tourism while they cut out those cruise ships. And maybe cutting out the cruise ships has now been what affects the cruise tourism. As more people choose not to go by cruise ship to Venice, they now travel to Venice because they want to see the city. So is cruise ships the reason Venice is over tourism? Too many people? Apparently not. Apparently cruise ships were a very tiny fraction of their issue. So much so that just the increase from tourists, just the increase from 13 million to 20 million is 7 million people. Well, that means that cruise ship passengers, that grew by the amount of cruise ship passengers going in by about 800 to 900%. More tourists coming in than cruise passengers. Just more tourists, not total tourists, just more tourists than cruise passengers. So I often think that the cruise ships are getting a bum rap. They are being blamed for over-tourism because they're the hotel and they're easy to spot. They're on the water. They're in a country that has mostly low buildings. You can see a 18-story cruise ship from a pretty good distance. So they stand out. And immediately they say, well, there's 3,000 people on that ship and there's 4 of them. That means there's going to be 12,000 people in our city today, and that's why it's so crowded. Yeah, but there's 70,000 in the city today. Yeah, but it's the cruise ships. It's the cruise ships. It's always the cruise ships. It's never passengers flying in. It's never motor coach tourist buses traveling across. It's not people driving their cars and vehicles. It's never that. It's always the cruise ships. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a little annoyed with it, to blaming tourism only on the cruise ships, where we can now see in Venice that in reality, them trying to cut tourists by saying that only the cruise ships are the cause, yet it goes up 153% in 4 years. Who else are they going to blame now? You can't blame the cruise lines anymore. The cruise lines aren't there. You already got rid of them. You already stopped them from coming. You lost that income. You lost that reputation in your city as a cruise destination. You lost a lot of the infrastructure that was there. And yeah, now your tourists are still up there. Your tours are still there. Tourists are not going away. They're still increases. So I'm just wondering when they're going to start banning people coming in by air and people staying at hotels and Airbnbs. Because in reality, that's the problem with your over-tourism.